going, YouTube? Today I wanted to bring to you whether I find Expedition rewarding or not, and the updates to my current build. I am still playing Stormbrand. I did try Fear today and I almost killed it, but got a little bit unlucky with the clones and trolling at the start, but I did manage to kill everything else. I have done almost all of the invitations besides the Breach one and the Distant Memory. So I'll include the Shaper invitation and the Elder invitation, and I also did Maven. All the fights are relatively super easy because Stormbrand is, again, one of the best skills for bossing in the invitations. Although Spark actually has a beat, but Stormbrand is still incredibly good. Now, I spent probably around today like 10 hours or so mapping, and I did get a bunch of like coins to turn into the vendor.
Well met.
And I wanted to go over exactly what I got and what this probably means for the future of the league until GGG decides to change it. Because GGG did have their patch today, and in the patch they somehow forgot to get the curse effect gone from maps. But they did say that they were going to be working on it, and they did say they were still looking into whether they would increase the rewards of the expedition vendors to reroll the actual loot table. So like for this one, you click here and you re-roll it. So let's see, I'll try it again.
What else do I have?
Maybe I'll get lucky for once, but nope, none of these things are good. So there is a nice spreadsheet. I don't know if it's, where is it? But it's on the Reddit site. So I'm gonna go link this in to at the start of the video. And this is pretty much a nice little cheat sheet for what to gamble. So you have Fiend Dagger for Eric Collins, Prophecy Wand, Void Battery, Judgment Staff, Pledge of Hands, Siege Axe, Soul Taker, Tukahamas, Prism Guardian Shafts, Impulsive Tinder Skin, Headhunter, which is a big one, then Ryslatus Coils, Badge of the Brotherhood, and Call of the Brotherhood. So those are the ones you want to go for. So if you don't see it, you just re-roll it.
Maybe I'll just shuffle these around and tell you they're different.
And yeah, nothing to really re-roll. I guess I could do this. I got, great, an 83 item. I'm not really sure what depends on the item level, but it is kind of shitty. You can't get an 84, so maybe I can get an 83 titanium shaper. Nope. So you can see rewards are kind of meh, and I'm gonna go over that in depth a little bit more. But now I'm gonna go over my build overview and what I actually changed about the build, and what I actually included to do the feared and all the other content. So right now, this build is capable of doing everything, and the main thing I upgraded was mainly gems, and I re-rolled and pretty much everything else is the same. I don't know if I had this crystal belt from yesterday, but I'm using this crystal belt for more defenses. So you can see my ES right now is 4,211, which is a lot better than before. And at this ES level, it's pretty hard to die. Most of my deaths in maps, I would assume, are from getting killed from the curse of Vuln or something like that. Like curses like that are actually really, really bad, because without warding and any way to get it off, you're pretty much just taking like 40% more physical damage or something absurd like that. So I don't want to reroll every single map I do, right? So that's why I still run like Vuln maps or run Enfeeble maps. I try to stay away from temp chains, but LE weakness is okay. So this character can pretty much do it all. You can do almost every single curse with no problem besides temp chains, which I would stay away from because temp chains is actually anti-fun. I don't really know why they won't go back on their warding flask thing, but I don't really know the rationale behind that. So hopefully they actually reconsider it, because the curses are actually OP in maps. So we have the Nebulous. I still haven't upgraded the Nebulous. The Nebulous is actually kind of crazy. It's still 1.9 to 2x. So there's more up now. So more and more people are finally getting to end game. But mostly nothing really special out there. Double damage for spells is 20x. There's a damage pen 5. And also 22% multi. Multi is something that's generally very good. This was actually pretty cheap for 5.5x. Could look to pick up one of these things if you have more of a budget, but 18% multi is definitely much better than what I have currently, which is just 28% mana regen. And they did change the mana regen in the patch, or the mana multiplier. So Stormbrand now costs a whopping 37 mana. So that means I could probably reserve a banner skill on my, if I didn't have Fortify or I had an extra gem slot. So that's where an extra gem slot comes in very handy. So you can get an extra gem slot for either your amulet, your rings, or shield, but all of these are very, very expensive options. Now, the Alpha's How, I still have the same helm. Make sure to get the Aura enchant reservation for one on your life pool. or your mana pool, I mean. Now this amulet, I used the Hoarder Crafting bench to re-roll, so it got lucky. And then it has really good rolls, so it has 34 multi, 20% ES, 5% RMR. So if you want to roll your amulets, make sure to save one of the harvest crafts for that. It's pretty useful. Now Prism Guardian, I'm still trying to shop for a better one. I did see one that was a physical damage taken as cold with 4% block. But at this point, most of my gear is good enough to do all the content in the game, right? So I'm pretty much just trying to save for a Headhunter. Because with a Headhunter, you can unlock your true money-making potential, which is doing Delirium on the map device. So here we have 2 Call of the Brotherhoods. Still waiting for some for the ones that have some corruptions on them. So in the link below, down in the description, you can see all of these search links, and these will show you ones that... So these are the Call of the Brotherhoods you can buy, and then I have another one for Corrupted Call of the Brotherhoods that should tell you which ones that have an implicit on them. So I don't know if this is the same one. But you can see some people have Hatred Aura Effect, and this is for 200 Chaos. Now, this might not be worth it, or it might be worth it, depending on your budget. Discipline Aura Effect is a really cheap way to fix up your ES, but as you can see, the league is pretty like dead at the moment, so there's not that many people corrupting Call of the Brotherhoods, but this will pick up sooner or later. I think Doriani's Delusion are a pair of boots that have gotten very expensive in price. Or actually it's not, it's only 100 Chaos now. At one point they were like 3 to 4x, but since the map is really cheap, this boots can't really get too expensive. But later on, this pair of boots can get very expensive because the map is actually like relatively rare. I think it comes from Delve or something. Now the belt, I have another pair of belts, so you could also use a Crusader belt for ES. Let me show you here. I have this belt actually for sale. So this is a Crusader crystal belt. Now for the Crusader crystal belt, you can get % ES. Now the problem with this belt is I actually don't have enough dex to wear it, but if I had enough dex, I would probably wear this belt. This belt you could also craft a prefix on. So if you go here, you can craft, I don't know what you could actually get. So you can actually get even more energy shield if you want, and some evasion rating, and this is even the T1 roll. So this belt will probably replace this one as soon as I can find a way to fix the dex. So you can see, without a Headhunter, our build usually suffers from a huge problem of finding enough strength or dex. So right now I have to go down this way for traveling because I want to take the Transcendent Flesh and I take Runebinder. So otherwise you would go this way if you wanted more dex, but basically this node and being a brand build means we have to go down this route. So Asenaths are another piece of gear. I'm trying to get a +2/+2 pair or a spell crit pair. Right now, increasing our spell crit is probably one of the most important things. So ideally, if you get a corrupted pair of Asenaths, let me see here. So let's get rid of this. So if you go to corrupted here, now these cards, there's a card that gives 2 implicit corruption. So a lot of these ones are pretty cheap. Like this is only 4.5x. I paid like 4.5x for mine. So technically I could buy this, and this is a +2 aura, and I could probably put discipline in there and it would actually be better than what I have right now, right? And it also gives you 5% ES. So you can see a lot of the gloves are very, very affordable. This is +2 LE weakness. I'm not really sure if anyone has spell crit, which is actually kind of weird because usually people would have spell crit, but maybe it got bought out. But spell crit is probably one of the best things you can get. +2 AoE is definitely not too bad either. Should actually buy this pair of gloves if I had the money. 4.5 exalts. Maybe he'll take some extra change. But now we have this flask here is something that I discovered. So this allows us to have spell damage leached as energy shield. So this pretty much gives us 10% extra regen as long as we're attacking, which helps out our regen a lot because we run RF, and RF does make our regen really bad. We usually has 859, but if you check the POB for the actual total regen, it's actually a lot worse than that after counting in RF. And all these other flasks are the same. I'm still using Bottle of Faith, Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline, and Chemist Sewer Flask of Staunching. And the Shavs, I think it's a little early to get +2, but I have 144% ES Shavs. I did divine it to get a better roll. I also bought a level 21 Stormbrand, bought a 2020 Conch Effect. Right now, I have around 356% multi, so I decided to drop the crit damage gem as it was getting less and less effective. So you can see it's pretty much a balancing act between your crit multi, and that determines what the best gem is. I should buy an Awaken Cold Pen and maybe inspiration that gives you crit chance, as there's, I think it's anomalous inspiration or divergent inspiration. But for the tree, I also got this jewel here. I bought it for 2x. This is an I-84 cluster, so it has 35% effect, +7 in and +3 all attributes. And this is pretty big because this allows us to get a lot more ES, and it's also 20% for the whole cluster. So what this means is that this, I could also aug defense and try to get a flat ES, but there's also a chance to get armor or evasion. Now, let's see here. Oh, I also got this one, the 6 passive point cluster here. Now, this is another first amount replenishing that has chaos res, and I took this one because I needed chaos res really badly. So my total chaos res is negative 13%, which is pretty comfortable now at maps. So I don't think I'll die as much at negative 13%. Ideally, I still want to put the belt on that I made, so we'll try to figure out a way to do that. But at this point, the character feels really nice to play. And we'll try to do a fear tomorrow to show everyone, but I'll include some bossing clips after I talk about Expedition League and why I think it's not really worth doing anymore. But everything feels really nice. 4.2k ES feels really good. At this point, I think the biggest upgrades is going to be the Headhunter, but if I had to choose, it is trying to get more gem slots, and that comes from making a new amulet, getting the shield with grace, and getting Call of the Brotherhoods with aura implicits. I wanted to talk about Expedition League and what the problem is. So I spent around 10 hours or so in mapping. So I got a bunch of these currency things, which are in the expedition locker. So the currency things are like scrap metal, burial medallion, exotic coinage, and ash, or whatever it's called. So each person has a different thing to reroll. So this person's is scrap metal, so you reroll it, and it shows you a list of different things to craft. And then this person is exotic coinage, and you can reroll it, and it shows you a little different amount of currency you can haggle. And then this person here is called Astragali, and you reroll it, and it shows you a different amount of uniques to gamble, or a different amount of item bases to gamble for uniques or rares.
Good luck.
And then this person here allows you to gamble to exchange. So like down here, there's like you can buy like the exotic coinage, the Astragali to reroll to other vendors, and I think there's a small chance of actually getting a logbook, but I personally have not seen it yet. So you might be thinking, in 10 hours, how much did I farm? So in 10 hours, I probably farmed around like 7 exotic coinages. And in that 7 exotic coinages, after re-rolling it, I probably got around like probably 50 to 60 chaos total in terms of rewards. A lot of it came in maps, some in simulacrum splinters, but a lot of it is just like tiny currency like I would take. Because there's really not that much stuff to take, right? You just take some chance orbs, some small currency. Mainly it's geared for like SSF people, so they don't need to pick up so much stuff. Now, Gwen the Gambler, I did like 20 of these. I had like 20, I think 25 Astragalis. I did it live on stream. I gambled it all. I used the spreadsheet to make sure that I was choosing the best rewards. And I also chose the high item level bases so that it can get a chance of getting influence. And I got absolutely nothing to sell. Now, I know that's just heavily RNG, but it just feels horrible. And I didn't really did this person to craft because I'm not really a huge fan of this mechanic because none of these items are influenced. So even if you craft it at this point in the league and later on, it's probably not going to be worth that much. Like none of these items are actually like high tier items. Well, this one's 85, right? So let's try crafting this one real fast. Remove all prefix modifiers. Exile. Yeah, why not?
I have an entire vial.
Skip this.
Let's try.
Wait, reforce suffix. Add a suffix.
I recently received
add a prefix.
A few small runes.
Skip this.
A small. It's your lucky day.
This is just screwed, right?
I've a feeling that if I hammer on this thing's front end, I could knock some of its enchantments.
We destroy this one and take it again.
Our deal remains an
option. That's pretty much the item I crafted. And that just is a very common reoccurrence of what you get,
deals,
right? So out of this, you could probably expect to maybe find like 2 or 3 good rares that you crafted out. Like in the end, none of these rares are going to be end game rares that you'll be using for your build. I don't even think you can craft a jewel, can you?
You want the premium deals, I see.
No, that's just, oh, you can craft a jewel. So maybe the jewel could be worth something, but overall, the league mechanic feels extremely unrewarding. All of the rewards come from the logbooks, but if you just spent all the time you were spent doing the expedition, you would make more than enough currency to buy probably like 4 to 5 times the amount of logbooks I got. So I got 4 logbooks today. So if I spent all of the time I spent doing expeditions, and expeditions do take a considerable amount of time in maps, you do have to read all the mods. The expedition mobs are actually extremely rippy and dangerous. So if I spent all of that time, I could have probably done around like 30% more maps. I could have spawned Awakener more. I could have gone more Guardian maps. I could have done Elder more. I could have done Shaper more. So in the end, all I did was I just wasted a lot of time doing expedition. And it's not even like the most fun game mechanic because it's very disruptive in its playstyle. And I got a whopping like 4 logbooks and 60 chaos or so in items. And that's in 10 hours. And that's with like trying to prioritize the remnants that give you pack size and quant and try to get increased logbook drops. It just feels absolutely unrewarding. It feels awful. And I don't really know why they refuse to buff the drop rate of logbooks or the reroll tokens, because it just isn't fun doing it. Like, the mechanic itself is fun, is not the worst to do, right? Sending off the explosions, some people don't like it. But I actually personally don't mind it. What I do mind is the lack of rewards, the lack of scalability of the rewards to endgame, and the fact that the logbooks are so extremely rare that it's easier to just buy them from other people. Now, the logbooks are pretty rewarding, and I do think there is a potential to make some money by buying the logbooks for 40C and running them yourself. But at this point in time, I don't really know if I want to do expedition maps anymore. I know I've probably lost I would say probably like 50 plus exalts from doing expedition maps, honestly. Just an opportunity cost and time of being able to progress the Atlas faster. Especially at the start of the league, I wasted a lot of time doing expedition maps because me and my friend thought that, oh, it's a league mechanic, right? If I don't do the league mechanic, then why am I even playing this league, right? Of course, GGG will make the league nice and rewarding. We saw how rewarding Ultimatum could be, or somewhat, but it's just a huge miss. A lot of these stuff like gambling and the ROG is only something that's going to be viable the first week. So what's going to happen the second or third week where you actually need double influence items to craft, or you don't even need to gamble uniques, and the only unique that's even worth anything is probably replica uniques or headhunter. So that's just a sad state of the expedition league. It makes me not want to do it in maps, but I don't know why I just keep doing it. It's like a weird cycle. It's Stockholm syndrome or something. Kept prisoner by expedition league. But that's basically my thoughts on it. If you're playing the game, skip the expeditions if you want to be efficient with your time. Focus on finishing up your Atlas, trying to get Delirium, because the league honestly should just be named Delirium and Ritual, and running the Delirium mirror on a map device, because that's what the true league is. Expedition is merely a side hustle that drags you off track and ruins your progress.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the Tahoe close, it starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. gravity, it keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye.
When I'm lonely in the dark, I know you are with me, yeah. Don't you see that I need you so much? Don't you see that I love you so much? Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, darling, I need your love. Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, darling, I need your love. When I'm lonely in the dark, I know you are with me, yeah. Don't you see that?
Hopefully everyone enjoyed the bossing clips and take my advice to Expedition to heart, because a lot of people want to just do the new league mechanic because it's there, but if you actually care about progressing your character and you don't have that much time to play, do yourself a favor and just finish up the Atlas, get these points in the middle, do some Elder Guardian stuff, maybe do some Lyra Ardain, some Breach, because Chayulas are pretty expensive, and then do the real league mechanic, which is the layer mirror on the map device. But on the topic of this character feels amazing. It feels pretty tanky relatively compared to my other ones at 4.2k ES. I do think I could probably drop some ES for, I don't know, brand attachment range would feel a lot better. It's actually crazy. The damage nerf to brand is pretty bad. It's pretty hard to get on the pop to like 10 million DPS. I had someone show me a standard profile with Stormbrand. They only had 6.9 mil. And that's just the sad state of affairs with the nerfs. The nerfs did hit most skills besides Spark really hard. But if you enjoy the content, be sure to like and subscribe. I will be streaming every day. Maybe I'll do Expedition if they buff it in the near future, but I don't really know what they plan to do with it. But this league will be dead on arrival in a week or less if they don't change anything. And that's mainly for softcore trade. I do believe the mechanic works a lot better in SSF and SSF hardcore, as these items maintain their value and usefulness for a much longer period of time. But Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you find more mirrors and exalts than I do, and see you next time.